So I get a lot of messages in my DMs on social media asking me for PhD positions, fully funded, scholarships in my lab or department. And first of all, I am in absolutely no position to host PhD students or to fund them. But at the same time, I think this highlights a key problem that a lot of prospective PhD students have. Firstly, how can I find a PhD project that is, first of all, fully funded? But perhaps the most important thing, how can I find a PhD that is valuable, rewarding, and important to me? So in this video, I'm going to talk a bit about how I came across my PhD project at the University of Cambridge, then talk to you a bit about how you can also find the correct PhD position for you that matches your research interests, and then finally how you can actually find these projects on the internet. So let's get started. And first up, my PhD. So there I was, a young, good-looking, strapping, gorgeous, young academic, just graduated from my master's program at Newcastle University in public health. I finished my last piece of coursework in August 2022, which was my dissertation. A massive piece of work that was 15 to 17,000 words, and it was very long and took a while to do. And at this stage, I wasn't actually sure if I wanted to jump straight into a PhD position. I've been involved in a few different research projects in my time so far, but I also knew that a PhD project is a 3 to 4 year piece of work, so I wanted to be absolutely sure that the project that I was taking was worth doing, and I also knew that I wanted to stay in the United Kingdom. So my initial plan was to look for research assistant roles in different universities across the UK. And just to explain a little, a research assistant job is basically a researcher who does not yet hold a PhD. Once they earn their PhD, they are then called a research associate. And with that comes sort of a lot more extra responsibilities and the expectation that you have ran your own projects as well. So I started off by applying to a bunch of these different research assistant roles that piqued my interest. And what I was doing, I was looking at various different sites where I could find these type of roles. But the main ones I was looking at were Indeed, LinkedIn, and then a bunch of universities that I was interested in applying to and their job sites. So I put up a bunch of job alerts at all the different universities that I was really interested in applying for. So that was Cambridge, Oxford, Imperial College London, Edinburgh, St Andrews, Glasgow, Newcastle, and I just waited until there was something interesting enough for me to jump into. And I know that there's often quite a big rush into getting a job once students have graduated. So around the late summer, early autumn time, there is quite often the expectation that you have to have a role by winter time, otherwise you'll be waiting until March until more jobs come up. With research, that is not the case. In academia, new projects are constantly being funded all around the year, all around the world, and therefore they are constantly looking for new recruits. So don't feel massively pressured to get a job if the fit isn't right. So I made sure I was only applying to roles that were of genuine interest to me while constantly updating my CV so it was ready for the next opportunity. And then of course tailoring personal statements for those roles as well. And one of those jobs that I applied for was a research assistant role at the University of Cambridge. And it was a 12-month project looking at public opinion of risk stratification by means of a community jury. So I went through that wonderful recruitment process and I was offered an interview and I did pretty well on it, but ultimately I was rejected because the other candidate just had far more experience than me, particularly with skills in quantitative research, which I didn't have at the time. And it's a really frustrating way to be rejected, and it will really often happen in research. There will usually be someone that is better than you. Probably shouldn't say that, but stay positive. So what I did was I asked for some feedback from the interview panel, which you should generally always do when you have an interview just so you can get feedback and improve for the next time. But I actually received really positive and, warm comments from the interview panel saying that I was a good candidate and I shouldn't feel discouraged by something like this because they think I'd, be a good fit at a different time in a different project, and that I certainly have a future in research, which as a young academic is just really positive and nice to hear, and it encouraged me to keep applying to different things and interviewing at different places. Then after having a bit of a conversation with a few different people on the panel, I was then contacted by another person on the panel that said that another person on the panel was actually looking for a PhD student in this specific project, and they were wondering if I was interested in applying, and if I was, then I should. So the project was a Cancer Research UK PhD project that was fully funded, and I took my time to look through that project, made the effort to get in contact with a current PhD student that was on the team, speak to them about the opportunity, and ask for advice on the applying process, polishing off my CV, writing the personal statement, and then shot off an application, went to interview, and then eventually I was offered it, which was awesome. So that was my journey, but how should you approach yours? Firstly, I think it's really important to reflect on what you're genuinely interested in. So think about what topics you enjoy. And a good way to find this out is to, consider your academic background and, research experiences. What specific components of research do you enjoy doing? And was it data collection? Was it, communicating with participants? Making a list of your passions is so important, as your PhD project will require a significant amount of time and effort. So it's really essential that you identify these parts that you really enjoyed. And then next, speak to the potential supervisors about it. And even if it's just, one line of email, that's fine. I'd fully encourage you to start some sort of dialogue with them. And whether that is obviously the supervisor, which is preferable, or another PhD student on the team, if you can find out if you'll be doing the specific types of research that you want to, it can save you so much time on applying to applications and doing interviews if you're not actually sure about doing that opportunity. And you can naturally discuss this a bit more once you get to that exciting interview territory. And of course, speaking with an expert can offer, valuable insights into the project and what you'll be doing, the methods you'll be pursuing, and, information on the resources that will be made available to you throughout the PhD. And that can go, a long way. And it also helps you develop a rapport with people on the team, which, can only help you being offered the position. So take opportunity of getting in contact and asking about the project beforehand. And then how do you actually find these opportunities? So I've talked a little bit about mine, and there are a number of different sites that can help you find a PhD. And the ones that I focused on were Indeed and LinkedIn when I was looking at mine. But if those aren't your things, there are also sites like findaphd.com. And this website specializes in finding PhD opportunities from all across the globe in all sorts of different disciplines, letting its users search for programs by, speciality, location, university, or different funding options. And likewise, PhD Portal or gradschools.com are also really good sites for helping you find a PhD as well. And they can also filter things out depending on your specific needs. And then obviously I mentioned LinkedIn, but Twitter is actually a really good site if you want to work with a specific supervisor, because if they have an online profile and you have connected with them already, you can be up to date as soon as that specific academic is looking for a PhD student. And then you can contact them directly and they can help you find a role, which, can only be beneficial. And for me as well, university websites are often sort of the first stop that you would go to for finding a PhD. And this can also be very helpful if you're looking to be at a specific university too. So this is what I did as well, because I really wanted to do a PhD at Cambridge. I really wanted to challenge myself and be at a, global top university, but obviously monitored other universities as well, because there were a few different places that I was interested in going to, like Oxford or St Andrews, Imperial College London I had an interview at as well. But it's more than just sort of monitoring these, top universities, because if there's one thing that you take from this video, then it is this. When I saw my PhD advert, I knew immediately that I wanted to do it, and I could see myself in the future doing it for 3 to 4 years. It was just like a feeling that washed over me, and I physically felt excitement in my body about it. And I know it can be so tempting to just sort of throw your application and CV at various opportunities and hope that it sticks. But if you don't have that sort of passion and excitement about, the PhD position and the opportunity, you're not going to enjoy doing it for 3 to 4 years. So find something that you are passionate about at a place that you want to go to that will help your career in the long term. That is my plan. That is my strategy. And that is my recommendation, to be honest. Anyway, that's kind of it from me this video. I really hope this video was helpful in helping you sort of understand how to physically find a PhD opportunity, but also how to find one that matches your research interest. Across my channel, I also have loads of different videos helping you prepare for the interview process, my experience of the Cambridge PhD interview process in and of itself, and what doing a PhD actually looks like for me as well. Please feel free to have a look at any of these videos if they are of interest to you, and also do consider subscribing if you haven't already. I hope you did enjoy the video, and I wish you the best of luck in finding and getting your PhD position confirmed. And I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.